There are many other ways, well, not maybe, a lot of other ways to get information into and out of a computer, but there are definitely storage devices, and those storage devices store information, and usually you can save information onto a storage device. So we'll talk about a few different storage devices. The first one would be the optical disc, and lots of information can be stored on an optical disc. You'll notice an optical disc isn't going to do you a whole lot of good if you only have a phone and you don't have a computer with some optical disc reader. So a phone or a tablet computer is not going to help you out with an optical disc. If you have a laptop of some sort, usually the laptop will have a optical drive somewhere on the side. Not always. Some of the newer and the oldest laptops will not have an optical drive. So there's the optical drive right there. And the optical drive will always say what sort of device it is. So you have to read the side very carefully to see exactly what it is. So this one says it's a compact disc rewriter. So not only will this read CDs, but it will record on CDs and it will re-record on CDs. So it can do all three things. It says it'll take these certain discs to re-record on. It'll take RW discs, and it'll take the plus, and it'll take the double layers. It'll also do DVDs, and it's a multi-recorder, so it can record onto multiple different DVDs. So we could read CDs and record on them, read DVDs and record on them. What this does not say is that we could play a Blu-ray optical disc or record on a Blu-ray optical disc, which we could not with this computer. We'll look at this one over here and see what it has on the side. And this optical drive, so another optical drive, it looks pretty much like the other one. But the only thing it says on the side is Blu-ray disc. And so that probably means that we can put in a Blu-ray disc, it'll play, DVDs and CDs will play. It doesn't really say whether or not we can record to any of those devices. I happen to know that this drive will record to a blank DVD or a blank CD. And those are the three major kinds of discs. There's the CD, the DVD, and the Blu-ray disc. Those are the three major kinds right now. Now inside the computers, there's usually a hard drive of some type, and hard drives can also be on the outside of a computer. So here's some things on the outside of the computer, some hard drives. This is a fairly large hard drive that plugs in to a USB port. And here's our USB cable that'll plug into the USB port on the computer. This hard drive is fairly large. It's actually the same size. It's actually bigger than the hard drive that's probably inside the computer. Another external drive. External drives come in all sorts of sizes and shapes. This one comes in a blue case, and it plugs in with USB. It also has to be plugged into a power outlet, and it has an on-off switch. And there's our round power connector there. That's very similar to this green one. The green one, again, has a power on the back right here. Power is almost always round. And it has a switch right there. And there's our USB. It also has a FireWire connection. So if we had a computer that accepted FireWire, then we could plug this drive into that FireWire connection. The advantage of the FireWire is it's faster than the older USB style. The newer USB style is actually faster than the FireWire, so people use the newest USB connection nowadays instead of using the FireWire port. Sometimes people will have external drives to read or write DVDs or CDs. So this is an external DVD writer, and it says on this that it will record to DVDs, It doesn't matter if it's a plus DVD or a minus DVD. It'll write and rewrite, and it could be a plus and minus writable only, or a plus or minus rewritable. And I know the RW doesn't really mean rewritable. I mean, it seems like the letters should be the other way around, but that means a rewritable disc that you could record on and re-record on and re-record on and erase and re-record on. R means you can only record once. Once you record on it, you can't record on it again. This drive happens to connect to the I-Link, which means the FireWire or a USB cable on the back. So again, on the back we can see there's our USB and there's our FireWire right there, power switch, and the power. The newer drives, of course, come usually in much smaller packages, and the only connection they have is one connection. This one happens to have a USB 3 connection. So that's the fastest of the USBs in the year 2013. And on this end, a USB 3 always has a little bit of blue so that you can see it's a USB 3. Now this will plug into any USB port, but it will go the fastest if it's plugged into a USB 3 port on a computer or a laptop. So those are some various storage devices. So you could put information into a computer or get information out of a computer. Input, output, input, I for input, O for output. It's usually called I/O. Input, output, I/O.